Shalom, Shalom, Shabbat, Adonai. Welcome to the Sixth Exodus program. Thank you for listening. The name of this segment is Sykes Picot Agreement. Sykes is spelled Sykes, Picot, Picot, Agreement. Okay, this segment here is our website is not only about religion, it's also about history also. So in this segment is some backdoor dealings that have not received any rest yet. In fact, they're probably getting more heated up. Well, in 1916, the agreements between the United Kingdom and France to the agreement defined their mutual agreement to spheres of influence and the control of the Southwest Asia, otherwise known as the Middle East. The agreement was based on a promise that the triple entity would succeed in defeating the Ottoman Empire. What I just said was that England, which is Great Britain, and France, and other um, Hassemite kings and leaders had agreed to fight against the Ottoman Empire, and they had agreed to have land or divide the land and give it to their buddies and their friends. It's called the Sykes-Picot Agreement. During World War I, the negotiations leading to the agreement occurred between November 1915 and March 1916, and it was signed May 16, 1916. The deal exposed to the public the defined purpose, land, and the land that will be given and issued out on the succeeding of defeating the Ottoman Empire. The backdoor dealings were, if you help us to betray your brothers with us, European and Frenchmen, we will give you the land. In other words, you help us fight your own people, kill your own people, we will give you the land. Okay, so it's some backdoor dealings. Marx Sykes, Francis George Peacock, and Coburn Edwards Guy signed for the British and the French, and the agreement allocated to Britain control of the areas roughly comprising the southern, while France controlled the northern, and the Britain controlling the coastal strip between the Mediterranean Sea and the Jordan River and the River Jordan, and southern Iraq, and the additional areas of the ports in northern Israel allowed access to the Mediterranean Sea. France got to control Turkey, Syria, and Lebanon, and Russia was supposed to get Istanbul, the Turkish Straits, and Armenia, but that didn't happen. They backed out on Russia. At the time, Hassan bin Ali, Sheriff of Mecca, was king and ruling in Jerusalem at the time. And with the heckling from Lawrence of Arabia and Winston Churchill securing British petroleum from the Middle East, an agreement was signed. By many, this was the turning point in Western and Arab relations, and how the Western influenced the demise against the Arabs, their own people. They turned over their own country to Western society. It negated the UK promise to the Arabs, and this is the promise to give to the Jewish people the land for exchange for supporting the British against the Ottoman Empire. The land was divided and given to the Hashemite kings, the Hashemite kingdoms. Faisal, Abdullah, Hassan bin Ali, the sons of Hassan bin Ali, the Sheriff of Mecca, his two sons, was given the land. And the Palestinians, that what they say has been fighting for thousands of years, never has been. They never been fighting for that many years. They've never been there. The Palestinians, they came from Jordan, and the Jewish people, they came from all over the world, from Spain, from America, from Poland. They came from all over the world to go to, and Great Britain, the UK, gave them the land. This is what this agreement was all about, and this is how the disputing, even today, is about the land, the, the separation of the land, and how it was given to the different countries that are in the Middle East. They came from Jordan when they drew the borders of the modern Middle East. The East was disputed, and these lines was drawn in sand. But in no means have they come to an end, because these lines that was drawn in sand was by European 100 years ago. The promises and the deals was given to Jordan, Israel, Iraq, and Iran and Saudi Arabia and Lebanon. It was also sorted out and given to the leaders, the Hashemite clans, or the leaders at that time who had made backdoor dealings against the Ottoman Empire for land and rights of the land. But Hassan bin Ali was the Mecca at that time, and many turned their backs on him. Even when he had agreement with the UK, they turned their backs on him, and they attacked Jerusalem, where he was king and emir of Mecca. And British had airplanes at this time, and the airplanes that they had was something new, and people had not seen anything like this in the air before. Great Britain had an ace pilot. They had many pilots, but they had an ace. His name was Edgar Allenby. Edgar Allenby was an ace pilot, and he was a clever man. He had the idea of sending notes, and he sent notes out of the airplane, and they landed on the ground, and the people in Jerusalem at the time, they read the notes, and the note says to surrender, and it had General Edgar Allenby's name on it. So for them, they thought the letter means the Son of God because the interpretations of Edgar Allenby, they thought it meant Allah, and so they thought it was the Son of God because they had never seen airplanes before. And so even to today, Great Britain, they boast about not killing anyone or not firing any shots. It was a war that was given up for fear because they had never seen airplanes before, and they gave up and signed the agreement and gave the land. Hassim bin Ali gave the land to Great Britain, and Great Britain gave the land to the Jewish people, gave Israel. Well, there was no lines drawn at that time, so there was just a lot of space and a lot of like clan members or people who was leading, mostly the Hashemite kings. And of Hashemite kings, that was Hassim bin Ali, the Amir, and his two sons, Faisal and Abdullah. These are the ones who got the land and made deals in the back door, behind back door signing agreements with and the Europeans taking advantage of the land and against the Ottoman Empire. This was the transition of power from Islamic rule to Western rule to defeat the Ottoman Empire, and the Hashemite kings, they sided with their own against their own people to side with the Western world. It's a shame and a pity. It's a shame and a pity. Okay, thank you for listening. Have a great day. This is how Israel or the Jewish people came into Israel when Great Britain had the land and they gave it to them. And they've been lying, all of them, all together. The whole bang of them, all of them still lying, and gave your greatest resources to the Westerners. That's what I can't understand. And it's also really very strange and ignorant that Great Britain had the military, but then they gave the land to the Jewish who didn't have no military at all. Unbelievable. Before I end this segment, I'd like to tell you how ignorant people were, I think, maybe 100 years ago. I don't know. But nevertheless, all these backdoor dealings was very strange and comical. When the United Kingdom gave the country Israel to, and they decided what the boundaries was going to be to control shipping and to be able to get to through India and to control the shipments of goods. They they discovered acetone. I don't think many of them knew what it was, but there was a chemist there. Um, can't remember the chemist's name, but he was a chemist and he smelled it. It was a raw form, and he smelled it, and they developed it. And a lot of things. This chemist, maybe I should look for his name. No, not necessary. Um, and they developed many things, things like fingernail polish, glue, tracer rounds. You know the red firing that make tracers bullets, and to make the bullets rounds tracer, made the fire come out of them. And the Jewish people made money off the whole world selling tracer rounds, this raw material acetone, to put it on the tip of bullets. And they sold it to the Germans. They sold it to the Americans. And they had war And they sold these idea to them, saying, look, if you shoot this gun and you put this on the tip of your weapon, when you fire, you'll know where your round is going, and you can know where you hit them. And then they go tell the Germans, say, hey, Germans, you can see their bullets when they come to you. And then when you shoot your bullets at them, you can know where your bullets are going. And so they sold this acetone, and that's why when you have war, you're firing these weapons, and you smell this high this gas smell. It's raw acetone. But this chemist, he was a very smart man, and they figured out how to be able to not use the, the the raw material in Israel, and they figured out how to be able to manufacture it, and and they made billions and billions of dollars off every war, and they sold it to every government in the world. They sold this chemical acetone to all the chemists, um, manufacturers of beauty products, paint, lead, anything that you can just about make it. It's it has acetone inside of it, and just think the Great Britain through the agreement with actually Russia was a part, not as much as the drawing of the lines, but they was in the distribution of the land that they had drawn up, and they supposed to have got Syria. I guess that's why they're hanging around over there now. But they had used acetone to its fullest, and they found out how to be able to manufacture it, and they made millions of dollars in using acetone. Anything with acetone in it, the Jewish people has figured out how to be able to use it. Um, Also, after they had distributed the land and drawn the land in the Middle East, they took what they wanted to have out of it, all the resources, and they started shipping from the ports, all the ports in Israel, from all the ports in the Middle East, and them close to the sea, to the Mediterranean Sea. Originally, it was to control the Middle East. The UK and France wanted to control the water going into India, because the Great Britain has had their hands in the pockets of India for a long time, and China controlling these countries. Anything from drugs to chemicals to any kind of contraband. If they could smuggle it, they could smuggle it, whether it be cocaine or any other type of product. They want to control the Mediterranean Sea, as it's going on today, because to control the waters is very important in mining and trading. They're very important waters to hold. Okay, um, this ends this segment concerning Sykes and Picot agreement. Okay, thank you for listening. Have a great day.